You understand basically that you have a right to have an extradition hearing.
Lori Vallow was known as a loving mother and a devout Mormon raising a family in Arizona. But in 2019, her religious beliefs transformed into extreme and disturbing ideas. The Doomsday Cult Mom is accused of murdering her 2 children and conspiring with a self-proclaimed prophet in the death of his first wife. In April 2021, Vallow Daybell was charged with the murder of her 2 children, 16-year-old Tylee Ryan and 7-year-old Joshua JJ Vallow, whose remains were found in 2020 buried in shallow graves on the Idaho property of Vallow Daybell's husband, Chad Daybell, Rexburg. The story of how Vallow Daybell's friend says she got hooked into the world of doomsday beliefs to disastrous consequences is really shocking, and that's what we're going to look at in this video. We're also going to show you everything that occurred at the time of her children's death. Get ready for a really rough ride. Firstly, who is Lori Vallow Daybell? Lori Vallow Daybell was born Lori Noreen Cox. She's been married 5 times. In 2001, she married her 3rd husband, Joseph Ryan, who's the father of her child Tylee. After divorcing, she married Charles Vallow in 2006, changing her name to Lori Vallow. During the marriage, the couple adopted Vallow's grandnephew, JJ Vallow. While she was married to Charles Vallow, Vallow Daybell found the work of Chad Daybell, an author and publisher who wrote about apocalyptic beliefs and prophecies. Vallow Daybell met him at a conference in 2018. Lori talked about death a lot actually. Talked about the next life, how great the next life is, and how it's going to be perfect, and how her kids won't have to suffer in the next life. This made Charles Vallow file for divorce from Vallow Daybell in February 2019. Writing in court documents filed in Arizona Superior Court, he was concerned for his own safety and the safety of his children. Vallow wrote that his wife believed she was a God sent to lead people during the second coming of Christ. Months later in July, Charles went to Vallow Daybell's house to pick up his son JJ to take him to school, according to Chandler, Arizona police. Police documents state that Vallow Daybell's brother, Alex Cox, told police the 2 got into a fight and that he had to shoot Charles in self-defense. "I got in a fight with my brother-in-law and I shot him," Alex Cox said in a 911 call. Charles died of his injuries from the shooting, according to an autopsy conducted by the Maricopa County Office of the Medical Examiner. In September, Vallow Daybell moved her and her children from Arizona to Rexburg, Idaho, to be closer to Chad Daybell. However, her children were last seen at various points in September. Days after the children were last seen, in October 2019, Chad Daybell's wife Tammy died. Her obituary said she died peacefully in her sleep. It was only when Vallow Daybell and Daybell married weeks later in Hawaii that authorities became suspicious. Tammy Daybell's body was exhumed in December, and in February 2021, Tammy Daybell's autopsy was completed by the Utah Medical Examiner, according to a news release from Sheriff Len Humphreys, but the contents of the report would not be made public, as it is evidence in an open and ongoing investigation. Some sources believe that Lori Vallow Daybell craved money, power and sex and killed her 2 kids because they were obstacles to her desires. However, Melanie Gibb, a former close friend to Vallow, recalled that Vallow Daybell killed her kids because she thought they were zombies. Gibb testifies that it was Chad Daybell who first told Vallow Daybell, then Gibb, that they believed Vallow Daybell's oldest daughter, Tylee Ryan, became a zombie when she was 12 or 13 years old, but they only discovered this when she was 16. Gibb testified that Vallow Daybell told her about a light and a dark scale after meeting Chad Daybell. Gibb said Vallow Daybell told her people who were light and signed contracts with a savior, and those who were dark signed contracts with Satan before coming to Earth.
The accident that was supposed to happen didn't because of people's choices.
That Charles Vallow is taken over by an evil spirit, and that made Vallow believe him. Later on, castings were made in early 2019 to rid Charles Vallow of his evil spirit. Multiple castings were also performed, and Chad Daybell was present for one casting. In addition to Vallow being dark, Gibb testified that Vallow Daybell also thought her daughter, Tylee, was dark, and that her son, JJ, an autistic child, had become possessed by an evil spirit. According to Gibb, Vallow Daybell told her that Cox came to stay with her because she thought Charles Vallow was going to kill her, and when he came, Vallow Daybell and Charles Vallow got into an argument, and that led Cox to shoot and later kill Vallow, claiming self-defense.
And so it just seemed like there was one drama after another drama, and it never ended.
Vallow Daybell said it was because she had a $1 million life insurance policy. She also said that Charles Vallow had a life insurance policy as well, but if he died, the money would go to Kay Woodcock, JJ Vallow's grandmother. According to Gibb, when she and her boyfriend went to visit Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell in Rexburg, Idaho, in September 2019, they didn't see Tylee or her belongings. Vallow Daybell said her daughter was visiting friends. Gibb said that she did see JJ, but Vallow Daybell said JJ's behavior was changing and he would say things like, "I love Satan," and he would climb up the fridge on top of the cabinets and was acting aggressively. The search for Tylee and JJ began on November 26th, when police attempted to conduct a welfare check on JJ and could not locate him. On December 20th, the Idaho's Rexburg Police Department declared Tylee and JJ missing and named Lori and Chad Daybell, who had fled Rexburg, as persons of interest. Around the same time, Vallow Daybell's brother, Alex Cox, was found dead in his home in December 2019. While in Hawaii, authorities ordered Vallow Daybell to prove that her children were safe and well and gave her 5 days to return Tylee and JJ to police in Rexburg. After she failed to comply, she was arrested in February 2020 and extradited to Idaho. In April 2020, East Idaho News obtained a letter from the Idaho Attorney General's office that, according to the outlet, said Lori and Chad Daybell were under investigation for a murder of Tylee and JJ. On June 10, 2020, the Rexburg Police Department confirmed 2 sets of unidentified human remains were discovered on Daybell's property located in Fremont County, Idaho, the day before. During a press conference the same day, Fremont County Prosecutor Rob Wood confirmed the remains belonged to Tylee and JJ. Lori and Chad Daybell were later found, arrested and indicted on first-degree murder charges in the deaths of Tylee and JJ in May 2021. The pair were also indicted on charges related to the death of Chad's former wife, Tammy Daybell. Both were indicted on the charge of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder in the death of Tammy Daybell. Only Chad Daybell was indicted on the charge of first-degree murder, according to the indictment. Both pleaded not guilty to murder charges. Chad Daybell had previously been charged with 2 felony counts of conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, and 2 felony counts of destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence related to the deaths of Tylee and JJ. He also pleaded not guilty to these charges. They also face theft and insurance-related charges, according to the indictment. Daybell Vallow was indicted on 1 charge of grand theft related to Social Security benefits in connection to her deceased children. Daybell was indicted on 2 counts of insurance fraud related to life insurance policies he had on Tammy Daybell. Both pleaded not guilty to charges of grand theft and insurance fraud. In Arizona, Daybell Vallow is also facing an additional charge of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder in the death of her ex-husband, Charles Vallow. Jennifer Lewer, a county attorney's office spokesperson, told the Arizona Republic in 2021 that Vallow could only be extradited to Arizona to face this charge after her court case in Idaho was resolved. According to 2020 court documents filed after her arrest, Lori Vallow Daybell had previously been charged with misdemeanor, resisting or obstructing officers, criminal solicitation to commit a crime, and contempt of court, which she pleaded not guilty to. On May 12th, Vallow Daybell was convicted on all charges. Her sentencing hearing is not set. Chad Daybell's trial is for a later date. Prosecutors initially sought the death penalty against Vallow Daybell, but Boyce ruled against it last month, NBC News reported. With that being said, thank you for watching our video. To get more videos like this, do well to like and subscribe to the channel, and if you've enjoyed this video, you'll definitely enjoy the next one.